Hey Lauren, can you get me the buyer thing, the buyer thing that we went over last week, the buyer system? What are we calling it?
Yes, got it.
You just get me the link maybe in Slack or something, or
Mhm.
I'm gonna kind of freestyle it today. Freestyle.
Oh.
How are you?
Hi, Tim.
Hey guys,
Hello.
give me 1 second. Will you just
All right, dropped it to you in Slack. Let me change my name. Hey, Jill.
Hi, Lord.
Hey, Sam.
what's up, everybody?
What's up?
Hey, Scott. How are you?
Hello, hello. How are you?
Nice.
Awesome.
Freestyle. All right, cool. So let's wait. Who do I have here? I got Jill, I got Kim, I got Sam.
Is Catherine hopping on?
Catherine Longo?
Yeah.
Yeah, she just I was stalling with her. Yeah, she had to take a call from one of her buyers.
Okay.
All right, guys, cool. So where am I at here? What do we got here? We got some people in here. Cool. So thanks everybody for being here. This is cool. We got a nice group here. Cool. This is rad. All right, radical. So this training that we do was always just always made for our real estate team, right? And then it's open to anyone can join. We do this every week because we just believe that nobody succeeds alone. And also, if you ever want to pin me or I don't know, any core members of our group down, we believe that all of us are going to wind up working together eventually anyway. So we might as well all just work together now, right? So so we open this up to anyone, because we come from abundance, not scarcity. And we believe that no one succeeds alone. And doing this thing by yourself is not fun. So at least that's what I think. So we're going to do it together. We have fun, right, Lauren? Sometimes we have fun. Sometimes we cry, but you guys don't really see that. Whatever, it's fine. Sometimes I get yelled at, but you guys don't see that either. Cool. So we're going to our agenda for today is we are going to talk about, this is pretty much just our team. So I'm just going to address you guys, which is awesome. It's kind of what we wanted, right? So you notice we have like a guest on, like Kenny, there's like 50 people on the training, right? And then, but when we're getting to like, I call this the fundamentals, right? And this is the stuff that I really, really, really love. And I really noticed this about the real estate industry, right? Is that it's like anything really. Like I'm a basketball fan and I know that I know free throws win games, right? Free throws, like that's a fundamental part of basketball, right? And if you hear stories about Kobe Bryant flying into a town and then like not going to his hotel or not going to dinner, like he goes to the gym and he shoots free throws for 3 hours, right? Like when I watch a basketball game, I can be like, yo, that's the game. Like when you miss 2 free throws, like I'm like, that's the game. And like, but the thing is when you watch the highlights, for a basketball game, they don't show free throws, right? Maybe if it's like a really, really clutch one at the very end of the game or something. This is more so correcting like college basketball, right? But like you'll see, it's crazy. I would watch the highlights to a basketball game and they'll show highlights of the losing teams, like best slam dunks, right? Like that team lost, but that's what's on the highlights. It's like, check out this slam dunk. So we're talking about the fundamentals here. And when we do these trainings on fundamentals, this is how you win the game, right? So our team, we are a Zillow Flex partner, right? So we're getting a ton of leads from Zillow Flex and we're working them and you guys are doing so awesome, man. I'm so proud of you guys. We've got a lot of people in our pipeline that are about to pop and we just have a really, really healthy pipeline from this opportunity. It's really cool. There's no reason why everyone here shouldn't be closing two to four transactions on just Zillow Flex moving forward, right? A month. So last week we went over our buyer appointment system, right? And so we're going to spend the first half of this training on that. I have to apologize to you guys. I had to cancel our Flex training because I'm going to be on a Zillow training after this. Training, coaching, training, reading podcast, right? So yeah, without further ado, last week we went over our buyer system, right? And I'm going to kind of just go through this quickly for anyone who maybe wasn't on that mastermind. That was like a mastermind that we did. Again, on our team, we do a Zillow Flex mastermind for the Zillow Flex agents on our team. And we went over this, right? So, Lauren, can you see the Google?
Yes, it says step 1, prepare.
Thank you. So, there was a huge aha with my Zillow success coach, right? She was like, Joe, do you treat your buyer appointments like your listing appointments? And the answer was no. I was like, no. And now we do, right? And what we're trying to do is we're going to create the stickiness. We're getting, the people on the team are getting anywhere from 2 to 5 opportunities per week to go out and meet people. And what we're learning is these are strangers, right? The people that we're meeting are strangers. They don't know who we are. And they're probably, they're not married. Are these people married or are they dating their realtors? They're dating, right? They're just checking you out. They're seeing if they like you, right? So like what we want to do is when we have this opportunity to meet these folks, we want to create the stickiness and we want them to be working with us. And I'm going to quickly run through the system, and then agents that are on our team, I'm going to ask you what you've implemented, what's working, what's not working, what we can do better, okay? Step 1 is to prepare. Whoever sets this appointment, right? If you're going on this appointment, we're sending out a video, right? The video, I'm not going to read this, right? By the way, if anyone wants this, you just email admin@joeosgroup.com. You can get a copy of it. We'll give it to anyone. Basically, you're just going to send a video, right? Once you set the appointment, maybe on your way to the appointment. The goal of that is just to put the face with the name. Hey, Mary, it's Joe. I'm so psyched to meet with you today. I can't wait to see you at 123 XYZ Street. The sellers just informed me that they're going to vacate the property. There's no pets in the house. I'm going to be there 15 minutes early to turn on all the lights, to open up all the windows, make sure it doesn't smell. And I'm going to be able to greet you there, and I can't wait to see you, right? What we're also doing is we're going to bring some stuff with us, right? We're going to bring our tax record. We're going to bring neighborhood comps. We're going to bring an MLS sheet. We're not going to be this, right? And by the way, this is me. I was a realtor when it was easy, baby. Like I didn't do any of this stuff. Like I don't know. It was before all this. I just showed up. Like I would pull the MLS on my phone and be like, yeah, what do you need to know? Like I kind of sucked, right? I kind of like sucked at it, right? So like, that's not true. I did that like later on when I didn't care anymore. I got really jaded. But in the beginning, when you have your listings, when you have your tax record, when you have neighborhood comps, you have something to talk about and you're providing value. That's what we're getting at here, right? In order to prepare, we're getting some inside information from that agent, right? When you're setting the appointment, if it's on showing time, it's a little bit difficult, right? But if you talk to that agent, when you're setting that appointment, or when you're texting, when you're talking to them on the phone or texting, really simple questions, man. Hey, when are you guys reviewing offers? That's a really great question, right? By the way, when are you reviewing offers is a high level question. Do you have any offers is a low level question. Please just note this stuff, you guys, right? It sounds like you know what's going on, right? And you're future pacing, right? Oh, you know what? We're reviewing offers on Tuesday. Cool. We're asking what the seller is looking for in an offer. We're not asking how much is the offer, guy. It's like, hey, how much is the offer? Sam, if you ask how much is the offer, what's the response? What's your highest offer? I think it's showing houses. Somebody answer that question. Is there anyone on my team? If I call a listing agent, ask them how much the offers are for? Does anyone know what the answer is?
I'll just say they're always gonna say it's over list price.
Yeah, thank you, Bridget, for saving me. Bridget, good to see you. I was thinking about you today. I was hoping you'd be on here. So yeah, dude, if you ask me that question, I'm probably gonna be, you can't ask me that question because I'm probably gonna be rude to you, right? So like, you just can't get to me, right? So like, you cannot find us. Like, I'm hidden in a bunker in Orange County somewhere. You'll never find me. So anyway, but a lot normal agents that are nice, they might say to you like, hey, you know what? But here's the deal, man. If you need to get to like, if you need to get to us, you can get to us and like, hey, what do you need to know? By the way, if your offer's looking good, you're probably, if there's multiple offer situation and they call for highest and best, that realtor probably will have a voice to voice with you or some kind of correspondence there. That's when you should be asking them what's important to the seller. Okay. And what happens is, and I'm just going to take a minute on this, man, is what do we all do, right? We all plead our case. Like someone's dying in your family and like someone has like the last piece of medicine in the village or something, right? Like we're not dying, like my buyer has lost so many houses and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sick of showing houses and blah, blah. Yo, nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about you. It's about the other person, right? Remember, if we can help someone get what they want, we might just get what we want, right? That's it, dude. Hey, what does your seller need? And by the way, dude, there's just an ongoing theme in this world that I live in. And if you're living in this world with me, you know this theme. I've just gotten really straight up with telling people like, hey, you're taking energy away from me right now. Right? You're either giving me, and this is true, right? Like you remember that one friend who just calls you up and wants to talk shit. And you're like, dude, I don't. And what do you do eventually? You see them call and you're like this. She's going to complain about 10 things. I don't care anymore. You know, like I can't do it. Right. And so like, feel free to say that, like, you know what, man, you're just, you know what, this conversation is not giving me any energy. I'm going to end it. Right. And that's it, man. And so like, that's the level of accountability I want to have with people around me. So, you know, if you say, hey man, what are your sellers looking for? If I'm a listing agent, I'm gonna be like, dude, it might just be like, you know what? They need a rent back for a month. I haven't found anything. That's really creative. Can we do a rent back? Now, all of a sudden, I know that people are going to go to whatever number you need them to go to, right? But if I can work out that rent back, or if I can be like, you know what, dude, I didn't put this in the MLS. They really want to keep the jacuzzi or something weird. Like they're going to unscrew all the light fixtures and take them with you. And there's going to be holes in the wall. Are you cool with that? Yeah. Relieve the headache for the listing agent, right? I swear to God, if you're making my life easier, if I got 5 people to take out this weekend, I just took 3 listings, I've got 2 kids, and you're just gonna make my life easier a little bit and not break my balls, you know? And the other thing is I'm just gonna share this here, man. When we are submitting an offer, we're gonna be like, yo, listing agent, these people, I have full control over this buyer. They're using my lender, my home inspector, my attorney, my title company. I'm not saying that because to make me sound whatever. I'm saying that because I have control of these people. We don't kill deals. Okay. And then talk about like, you know what? I've closed, this is the language of real estate, guys. I've closed X amount of deals this year. Hopefully it's a lot. And by the way, none of them have fallen apart. Every single one's gotten to the finish line. That's how you have to talk to a listing agent. If you talk to me like that, I'm be like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Because that person's just going to make my life easier. It's going to get to the finish line and I'm not going to catch the snags in escrow or in the under contract process. So anyway, give them a call. Ask the agent. So this question right here says, how old is the roof? It says here to be like, how old is the roof? Any unique features, HVAC, hot water heater? I hate that question. What that really should sound like is, hey, dude, this is beautiful, right? When I moved to Orange County, I started showing houses. I didn't know anything, right? I didn't know anything at all. And I would be like this, hey, Mary, I'm gonna show that house at 3 o'clock. By the way, I just moved here. I've sold a lot of houses, but I haven't sold any houses in Orange County. Can you just tell me what I wouldn't know that I can maybe communicate to the buyer? Like, what would I not know by just looking at this on the MLS and opening up the front door? Oh my God, Joe, do you know about the community pool? Like I showed this house, it's in Laguna Niguel. There's this HOA called the Club. And like you buy in this community, the HOA gives you like, there's like 4 Olympic sized pools. There's like a sauna, a gym, and it's like, I drove past it 1,000 times, right? But I never knew what it was, right? But it's a huge selling point, man. I never would have known. I swear to God, I showed a house and then I was like, oh, you know, you guys are aware of the, like, I act like I don't know what I knew I didn't know this 10 minutes ago, but I'm like, oh, have you guys ever seen the club? And they're like, what? I'm like, oh my God, guys, I'll take you there now. And then after showing houses, I drove them. I've never been there. I never went to this thing. And then like, there's a gate to get in. I'm like, hey, I'm Joe, I'm a realtor. I'm here to show everybody around. And they're like, cool, Joe, thank you. And all of a sudden, I look like I know what I'm doing. I had never been there before. I never knew that thing was there. And it's because I asked this agent, I'm like, hey, what should I know? And they're like, oh, are you familiar with it? And by the way, I was humble about it, right? I was like, by the way, I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you help me out? And people, I say this a lot, man, when you get honest with people, you're just inviting them to get honest with you, man. And like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of awesome. So, also what we're doing is we are doing one more quick MLS search that morning or a couple hours before. What's popped on the market that I can make a quick appointment for to take them to while I'm showing them houses. On the appointment, we're showing up 15 minutes early. Don't blow this, please. How many times, I hate being like, how many times you like roll up late, they're sitting there staring at you like you're an idiot. Your lockbox key melted in the car, so that's gone. You know, you're climbing through a window. I don't know. There's like, I don't know, the house next door is on fire. Someone breaking it. Like, dude, you got to get there early. So yeah, that's it, man. Get there 15 minutes early and just act like you care, man. Turn on the lights, open up the blinds. I say this like it's a big deal, man. Like make it like open everything up, man. Make so it makes it seem like you care, dude. And like walk through the house, get familiar with it. Like I would always just do a quick run through. I'd be like little I'd be like, boom, boom, okay, cool, granite, boom, 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 boom. I'd run down the basement and be like, cool, man, they have a finished basement with a wet bar. Cool. And then when I greet them at the door, I'm like, guys, and this sound shit's so corny, but you'd be like, dude, wait till you see the basement. Don't miss the wet bar in the basement. Like it sounds like I know the inventory. It sounds like I'm the local expert, right? Greet them at the door, like door open. I mean, unless there's cats or whatever. Have your stuff in hand. Greet them at the door, friendly. I know the best of the best are like the teams that are like at the next level, the Four Seasons real estate teams. The admins are like texting in their Starbucks order, like what would you like from Starbucks? Texting the orders in, the agent's picking them up. Kenny, like there's teams like high-end teams that are doing this, and then the agent has their whatever, mocha latte or whatever. Here's your coffee. I don't know about you guys, man. Me and my wife crash the pool at the Ritz all the time in Dana Point, and like that's the way we get treated. Like it's really awesome, man. And that's the way everyone should be treated if they want to work with our organization. Intro yourself. And then, dude, on our Zillow Flex calls, right, on our script, right, we recap the next steps, man. It's so important. Everything I do in life now, like I was on the phone with a vet. I'm like, can you just recap the next steps? Yeah, you're going to bring your dog in on this. You're going to drop them off. They're going to be here for this long, blah, 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 blah. If I'm on a call with a professional, nobody recaps the next steps. Let me, I lose my mind. I'm like, dude, just tell me what's next, please. I just want to know what's next. You're the professional. Guide me through the process. Hey, just so you know, guys, listen, my name's Joe Oz. By the way, I have a copy of the listing here for you. Boom. Okay, here you go. I also pulled our tax card. I don't know if you've ever seen every house. There's, I can go into a property, I can go in the tax records and I can pull the tax card so we can see what they owe, see if there's any liens on the property, see if the house ever foreclosed on. We can see what they paid for it. We can see when they bought it. We're gonna see all these things that the listing actually doesn't show you. But right now, I just want you to take a look at the house. Go ahead and take a look around. I'm not gonna HGTV you. I'm not gonna be like, this is the kitchen. I want you guys to go and look around, see what you like, what you don't like. I'm gonna be within an earshot. I'm gonna meet you at the kitchen table. And when you get to the kitchen table, I'm gonna show you the tax record. I'm gonna answer any questions you have. I'm gonna have some information about this house that only like a local expert would know. I'm gonna share that with you. And then every house we go to, we're just gonna rate it. Quick, 1, 2, 3, man. One means get me out of this house immediately. I hate it. Let's burn it down. Number two is I could live here, but that means like I could live here, but I don't love the kitchen. I could live here, but I don't like the neighbor with the 10 cars on the lawn. I could live here, but it's priced a little too high. And number 3 is stop what we're doing. We need to have this house. We need immediately to like 911 schedule a plan, put together a tailor-made plan for us to make sure that our offer wins this property and we are moving into this house in 60 days. That's it, right? By the way, that's when you're going to find out that they also will look, they're also working with another realtor. They're also looking, they also would consider moving inland a little bit. They also would consider a condo. This is where you get to, this is where they open up and you find out the real motivation, right? I would live here, but it's a little overpriced. Cool. When you guys spoke to a lender to find out what your buying power was, what did that look like? High level question. Low level question is, yo, you got pre-approval? Yo, you pre-approved? It's like a low level question, right? Like high level question is like, cool, man, when you guys spoke with a lender to find out what your buying power was, what did that conversation look like? Right? By the way, how many realtors in your market do you think are talking to buyers like this? Someone
Zero.
Zero.
Very few.
Very few. Very few. And do we think that we need to act different to gain that market share when the consumer, everyone's after your clients, you guys. I don't care if it was your maid of honor, if it was your best friend, they are after you. Google is after you now. If you don't know, Google Screened is after you, okay? They want your money, they want your commissions. And when we talk about commissions being compressed, right? I'm not talking about 2.5 going down to 2 on a buy side. I'm talking about the cost to obtain the consumer, right? That's a big, big cost. Catherine and I were just talking about one of her deals. She's like, that's a sphere of influence. So we don't have to pay blank, a channel partner. And she's 100% right, man. Like she understands the acquiring of the consumer it's getting expensive, you guys. So if you think Google's smart and you think Zillow's smart and you think Realtor.com, those 3 are after your clients, man. And your clients aren't looking at MLS searches. They're on their apps. They're on their websites, you guys. So if you think you need to step it up, so do I. And this is what this looks like. And it's not hard. It's not hard, man. Step 2, the appointment. I just kind of went through this, man. Kitchen table talk. Local knowledge. Someone give me an example of what I mean by local knowledge.
I will.
Jill Keating.
Tell them about schools, tell them about coffee places, restaurants, bars, nightlife, transportation, beaches, beach clubs, all the fun stuff.
Perfect. Now, that's perfect. I love it. Yeah, because because you're there. You're an expert, right? You've been to that beach club. You belong to that beach club, whatever. Can someone give me an example of local knowledge of like a house, of like brick and mortar, like or the land or something?
Like knowing that you're in an area where there's not a lot of basements, there generally aren't basements, right? Like if you're close to the water, it's more likely that people are going to build up than have a finished basement.
Cool, man. Thank you, dude. Hey, what's a natural, what's a breakdown of natural gases that sometimes they test for in Monmouth and Ocean County? Begins with an R.
Radon.
Radon.
What's radon, you guys?
Chemical.
I guess.
It has to do with the rocks and the soil. It's mostly the rocks in the ground. That's what
Might fall on the ground.
I've learned.
Perfect. So, hey Sam, we're looking at houses in Freehold right now, correct?
Sure.
Cool. Just so you know, rate. So, by the way, when it comes time to do a home inspection and we do all of our discovery, there's a lot of different inspections that we can do. Okay. One of the inspections that a lot of people do in this area is called a radon inspection. A radon is not it's not a natural gas, but it's a breakdown of natural elements that creates a gas, right? It's measured in picocuries, right? At a certain level, it's been deemed that a high level of radon can cause cancer. Okay, so what we do is we test for radon in certain areas. Radon is found in highly elevated areas with rocky soil. Okay, we found it in Freehold, Manalapan, Marlboro, places like that. Okay, now what we do is, by the way, just so you know, if we buy this house, we're moving here. It's not found in every house. It's actually rare, right? And if it is found, what they can do is it's about a $1,500 fix. They put like a tiny tube in the basement and there's a fan and it just runs forever, right? And that's it. So it's really no big deal. But if we do see it, I forget the measurement. I think it's like if it's over like 25 picocuries or whatever, it's deemed like hazardous. And that's it. So what'll happen is you'll be in, and by the way, it's not found in sandy soil. So if you're at the beach, if you're in Bricktown or Tom's River, or if you're, a lot of Ocean County is sandy soil, right? I grew up there, I would dig holes all the time, right? But like it's sand, right? And so what you'd say is people, if someone's coming through, they'd be like, hey, what about radon? You'd be like, well, we're in Neptune. Radon is rarely found close to the beach. You can do a radon test, but it's really not recommended. It's the stuff that we're talking about, right? Like, so radon is local, man. If you're in Freehold and you're selling a house with a basement, oh, and radon's only found in basements. It's not found above the ground, right? So if you're in Freehold, I'll be like, yo, dude, I found one that was like 100. Dude, these people should have died. I swear. There's one that was so gnarly. People lived there for so long. I'm like, oh my God. I asked everyone, I'm like, have you ever seen this? They're like, no. And I was like, holy shit. But it's $1,500 with this little fan goes they drill the concrete or whatever. If it's like stacked concrete and that's it. So anyway, another thing is septic tanks, leach fields, bulkheads, water, whatever happens in the water, riparian rights, boats, like if you buy a house in Lake Arrowhead, I found out that you need, I don't know, you got to pay for a license to drive a boat there, or get on the water, or whatever, park at the marina, all that stuff. So that's what that looks like. Did I miss anything in here? Set the next appointment, man. Like, set the next appointment. Do not leave them without setting up another appointment. That's it. Just, hey man, when are we going to meet again? When are you guys available? Well, we'll see. If we see some houses, we'll call you. Houses are coming on the market every day. We even have off markets. I want to make sure we're purposeful. Are you more like, what's better for you, nights or weekends or days? Cool. Let's go ahead and put something on the calendar for Thursday night at 6 to 7. If something pops up, cool. If not, at least we have that held. Sound good? Cool. I've been saying this to people. Your dentist, when you leave your dentist, when do they make an appointment for you? 6 months later. It sounds insane, but we all do it, right? You're like, I just saw a meme. It's like, yeah, like, it was really funny. It was like, I think I sent this to Lauren. I don't know. I was like, the dentist was like, there's a meme that's like, yo, a dentist's receptionist will straight up ask you what you're doing on 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August 8th of 2022, right?
Hysterical. I always think about that. I'm like, oh, do people actually have that day blocked out like 6 months from now? Like, oh, busy. Actually, can you push it back an hour?
Dude, I do it, man. I'm like, and guess what? Because they did that to me, I go back and they get that appointment. It never fails, man. God, man, I love my dentist is so efficient. I go in there and I like mastermind with them. I'm like, dude, what are you implementing right now? It's like, that tells me, and I'm like, cool. Step 3, after the appointment. So after the appointment, you guys, update your CRM, update your master appointment tracker, update your Zillow Flex pipeline. Updating all those things sounds like a pain in the ass until you update them all and you realize you have only 4 people in your pipeline. You don't have 50 ding dongs to follow up with, right, Jill? What do they say with like the systems will just set you free, right? Make sure your statuses are correct in your channels, right? Your channel partners. Set them up on a search, either in your CRM or on your MLS, whatever you're comfortable with, and just text them, man. Hey, it was really great to see you. So there's one piece of this that is missing, you guys, on our team. Lauren and I are working to make, you guys are familiar with the seller guide that we have? This thing. So we have this like seller guide. It's like a little magazine, right? Where it's like, sell your house with us. We take pictures and we put signs in the ground and blah, 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 blah. Meet our team. So we're going to do the same thing. Sure enough, guess what? Dan already did one, Dan's team. So we're just ripping his off, right? We're literally just taking it and swapping it all out. And then we're just going to have the same thing. So the stuff that's in here, like the home buying process, list of referral partners, customer reviews, social media, things like that. Those will all be in a buyer guide for you guys to hand over. It's going to take, we have to print them. We're going to get but basically you guys are going to have this thing to bring, and then you just have to have your tax card, your listing printout, and your comps and any other houses you're bringing them. And you'll have these in your car, and you'll be like, cool guys, by the way, boom. If the entire buying process is in here, our home inspector's phone numbers are in here, our mortgage lenders, our attorneys, our title company, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then that's the system. So now, we talked about this last week in depth, right? Who has implemented something from this while showing houses in the last 7 days? Jill, tell us about that.
The rating, I think, is helpful. And I've sort of like cut to the chase by doing that. Found out that it was location. That's why the guy didn't rate it a 3. And so then we can stop going to that location. We kept going there and I didn't know why. I was like, all right, so just tell me if you don't like it. So that was good.
Dude, I love that, man. Anything else?
Yeah, I've been using the rating too. That worked really well yesterday. I've been bringing the folder too with about the tax record and the printout of the listing yesterday, and people seem to value that. And then I got there early. They were 20 minutes late, but I got there early, so it was worth it. But
Dude, that's awesome, man.
no, I was good to get there and like set up the house from the lights on, and yeah, I went through and like I knew the house on the front lawn instead of like after I walked through it behind them, which is, you look much smarter.
I'm gonna tell you guys, man, I was the one, especially like when I was a single agent and I was trying to do all this stuff, and I was like, did my buyer, I literally was just like running past them like, hey guys, what's up? Cool, I'm gonna get this open right now. I'm like answering my phone, like everything was going wrong. I got my driver's side door open, the car's not even turned off, right? Just like a hot mess, man. I don't know how I got away with it. Okay. Anyone else on our team that has implemented this stuff and found that it's worked? So I agree. The rating system is good. It's the rating system and the tax card are probably the two most important things here. Rating system is, dude, we just got to get to the motivation, man. Again, everybody wants your client. Everyone, these companies, and I didn't even mention like Compass or Redfin, like they are spending, those companies, by the way, Compass and Redfin, they're not profitable. Okay. They are not profitable. They are spending, if they didn't put so much money in their R&D department, they would be, right? But they are after your people. They're after the consumer. Real estate commissions are big and they want your commissions, right? So, and they're all trying to get to your people, man. And unfortunately, the Redfin app is like the number 2 app that people use, right? And I don't know if you guys, who here has ever been on a Redfin app? Tina has, Sam has.
Tim Parker has.
Tim Parker has, and Bridget has. Yo, what does it say when you go to set an appointment on those apps? Like, what's the really like attractive thing that a buyer might see really big and bright when you have to make an appointment?
You'll get so much money when we work with you.
Tell me more about that, because maybe some of these people don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's blatant. It's like, hey, if you buy this house using a Redfin agent, we're going to give you back $8,000 towards your closing costs or some other, but it's very clear we're buying you.
Yeah. And so like, thanks, Bridget. That's what I was looking for. Yeah. So like it is an algorithm with like, it just calculates it, right? It's like, oh, this is an $800,000 house. Cool. You're going to get $3,000 back if you use an agent. And that's like, dude, it's like when you're at the grocery store and they're like, who does this? They're like, yo, do you want 5% off today? Oh, Target. And I'm like, well, I'm buying $200 worth of stuff. Sure. I'll fill the stupid thing out, right? It's almost like the same thing. It's like, yo, you know what? Fine. I'll use Redfin, blah, blah, blah. And we all know, man, the reason why Redfin's not winning, by the way, Redfin's a glorified, gigantic real estate team. And it's funny, man, the W-9 thing or the W-2 thing just isn't working, right? So like, if you've been in the business for a minute or long enough or whatever, and I'm not saying that to sound whatever, but like, if you're using those agents, it's just gonna be bad. You're gonna have a bad experience. You're gonna lose money. You're not gonna get the house you want. It's just brutal, man. And I've seen it. I've seen the people crying in my office, like, I just need help. Please help me. So like, really, it just all comes back to like doing the right thing. I'm gonna stop here and just see what questions you guys have, ahas, comments.
So Redfin, just so people know, when you do an open house, it's really not just to get buyers. People come in to interview us all the time to see how we handle our open houses, even if you're not the listing agent. And a person came in and told me that Redfin said that they would sell their house for 1%. And I said, I would love to help you do that. I said, but unfortunately, my marketing, my skills, my negotiation is worth so much more. I just can't work for 1%. They called me back.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I mean, holy crap, dude. Yeah, we can go right into. I was doing an open house in Laguna Niguel. So Redfin hit me like a ton of bricks in California. I was like, oh my God. They're not, if you guys think there's Redfin agents in New Jersey, there's not. There's not. Don't front you, but they're here, right? Oh, so like I had 2 experiences with Redfin that were awesome. One was in California. I was doing an open house and a Redfin agent showed up, just shorts, flip flops, but like that could be Southern California, whatever. But like, you know, just like there and like, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And there's no one at the open house. Like I just got open. He's like, yeah, I'm meeting a client here. I'm like, oh, and he gave me his business card. I was like, oh, Redfin. In perfect Joe style. I'm like, oh man, I was thinking about Redfin. How do you like it? Right. So it's like, he's like, dude, it's awesome. And I was like, cool. Tell me more about that. And he was like, you know what the best part is? He's like, I'm going to the beach after this, dude. He's like, dude, I make my own schedule. And he's like, you know what? I get paid no matter what. He's like, the money, this is what he said. He's like, the money isn't crazy. He's like, I get paid no matter what. And you know the best part? I was like, yes. And he's like, I don't have to worry about selling anything. This is what he said to me. It was incredible. It was awesome. And what that really sounded like to me was like, I don't give a shit if these people find a house or don't find a house. And it's not even about buying or selling. It's like, yo, I'm not going to, like our mission statement on our team is the Joe Oz Group exists to help our clients achieve their goals while helping our team members achieve theirs. So like, bro, if you're not worried, like, okay, like, is that guy worrying about his goals or their goals, right? And so it's just, and again, we're getting deep into a relationship with Zillow, who I feel like is just, who I know is just going to take over this whole thing, right? And so like, they only care about the consumer experience and what's important to the consumer. That's why that's why our team can align with them so closely. And it just shows. And it's funny, man, when Redfin's like, yo, we're going to cut out the person that cares to hire a W-2 employee. It just doesn't make sense, right? And then I'll just share this with you guys because these experiences are what's important, right? And what you can share with your consumers. So when Tina does a lot of business, right? And she talks to a lot of people, right? And so like when you're able to say like, yeah, my partner Joe did an open house, and this is the Redfin agent's attitude. So I went to, if you know me well, you guys know I had a short stint in Baltimore, Maryland, right? And I was a team leader and a recruiter for Keller Williams in Washington, in DC and Maryland. And we were living in Baltimore. We were in a section called Canton, right? And we were going to stay there for a while, right? And either way, however long we were going to stay there, we wanted to buy a house. We wanted to buy one of these row homes, right? I thought it was a great investment, whatever. And I was with my wife, right? We had a brand new, Milo was really young, like brand new baby, right? And so we were in Baltimore. Now in Baltimore, like you guys have ever been there, right? Like there's no parking. You kind of it's like a city. You kind of got to walk everywhere and things like that. And so we were in Canton and we had to go and we were just going the way you would do it there. Like the houses are so close together. They're all row homes, right? And like you can just walk around and go to a bunch of different open houses. All the houses are the same. They all cost the same price point. Like they're just boxes. It's the wildest market, man. There's all these boxes, which are like row homes or row houses like you'd see in Brooklyn or something like that. And so anyway, my wife and I'm like, and honestly, I didn't give a shit because it was going to be an investment property. And I'm like, I just need to buy one of these things because we were like living in an Airbnb, right? So anyway, I was like, you just gotta buy one of these things. And the Redfin agent had so we got to this house. There was an open house. It was raining. There was an open house that started at noon. It was raining, and but like we were in line. We're in line to go look at this house, and we had our umbrellas, and then there was like a line. Like my wife had a baby umbrella. It was like the open house was supposed to start at 1, and there was like a line. There was like a line of people to get into this open house, and there was other like women and children and babies and things like that. The Redfin agent was like, the Redfin agent like ran past us with like an open house sign in the rain and was like, I'm like, yo, are you? He's like, I'll be right back. He like yelled at me. He's like, I'll be right back. And he set up, and then he set up the open house sign, and then he was coming back to the other side of the block to set up another one. I'm like, yo, are you agent? He's like, I'll be right back. And then he got back, and then he like opened up the house, and then he closed it on me and locked it. And he's like, I'm not he was like basically the person that's supposed to get the house ready. Does that make sense? I was like setting up the signs. We're in the rain. And he's like, I'm not the agent. The agent's running late. You're gonna have to wait. And that's how that shit went down, man. And like my job,
That's awesome.
by the way, when I was like looking at open houses, those were recruiting appointments for Keller Williams, you know? So like if I didn't hit, this is a funny story. I didn't hit goal by Friday. My mentor was like, well, Joe, how can you get 10 appointments? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, can you go meet some realtors where they can't get away from you? I'm like, sure. They're like, where does that happen? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, open houses. So I would go. So my wife's looking around the house and I'm like recruiting this guy. I'm like, so dude, how do you like Redfin? You know, like whatever. And same thing. He's like, yeah, this isn't my listing. You know, I just have to sit here. I get paid $20 an hour to just sit here and just take down people, make sure people like write their names down. So beyond, you know, Tina, beyond your, this is a cool little mastermind, right? Beyond your like marketing, and there's a whole nother rebuttal on commissions and marketing and what we spend. And, you know, if you have a 3% commission, right? Your brokerage is probably taking a third of that right off the bat, right? The government needs another third, right? Am I right? So like,
You're
really,
absolutely right.
no, you've got 1%. So now this is my quick script. I'm like, dude, I get paid 3%, right? My brokerage is taking 1%. The government's taking 1%, because by the way, I'm an independent contractor, just so you know. And then that leaves me 1% to market your home and pay and feed my family, like to put food on the table for my family, right? If Redfin's only doing this for 1%, what do you think do you think they're gonna feed their family and pay taxes? Like, what are they gonna do to market your house? It's a pretty cool rebuttal, right? Like, and it pretty much breaks it down. You can go a bunch of different ways. I could do a whole training, which I have, on commission splits and things like that. But that was awesome, Tina. But yeah, that's just a matter of like knowing your enemy, right? Like knowing the competition and what's really going on out there. And that's why our mission statement is what it is, because it's not about us, man. It's about the consumer, what's best for them, not us. That's why Redfin's failing. Any other comments or questions?
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, please.
So
Yeah, this is like,
yesterday I'm out with a $4 million customer. You know, I'm not used to that. That's a big one for me. And I always bring the tax record. Kim will tell you, when I handed him the tax record at the end of the hour-and-a-half long viewing, he looked at me and he said, I was going to ask you for that. And I said, we always bring this just in case you have any questions. He goes, well, I'm wondering what they paid for it and how we're going to negotiate it down. And the wife goes, the other agent already told you there's no negotiation. It's off market for a reason. And I said to him, the cul-de-sac, you could teach your grandkids how to ride a bicycle here. Or we could go back to that busy street down the road and we could try and beat them up a little bit. What do you want to do? He goes, that's a very valid point, Tina. I go, and here's the other thing. I go, I want to make sure when you guys leave here today, you have a 5-star experience. Always. It's all about you as the customer. He goes, you just landed it, girl. He goes, we're using you and we're going to do something this week. So I just want everyone to know, the more Joe keeps saying about the 5-star experience, they love to hear that. They love to hear that they're important. Instead of, you know, me always, they used to be girls saying, I'm so busy. I'm never too busy for you. And I just wanted to say that this has really helped me carry forward what I needed to say to people to
That's
keep
awesome.
them.
That's awesome. Anything else, man? That's you really you're out there showing a lot of people houses, meeting with a lot of people. Yeah. Anything else that's helping keep the stickiness?
Just
I
showing
had
that I care.
Was that Kim?
Yeah, I had a phone call and I really went hard on the recapping the next steps. And it was a lead from my sphere telling him exactly what we're going to do and what steps that we're going to take to find him the house that's right for him. And he really appreciated that. He's been looking for about a year, but he hasn't really been committed to, my dog's going nuts on me. That's why I'm like all over the place. But he really appreciated that because he was just kind of hunting and pecking, you know, like maybe a Zillow, asking for an appointment. He wasn't really committed to working with anyone, and no one really had his best interest. And that's where his frustration was. So I outlined for him exactly what we're going to do to find him the house, and he appreciated that.
That's awesome. Thanks, Kim. By the way, everybody here, you know, even like Kim, you guys are just like total professionals, man. Like treating people the way they need to be treated, making yourself second, and it's the golden rule, man. Right? Like treat people how you want to be treated, right? And so, like, I had another experience this week. I had I brought my car in to get serviced, and I dropped it off at 6:30 a.m., right? And I don't know, no one ever called me. Like the whole day went by, no one ever called me, right? Like on like Friday, like on Friday, like I called him at like 10 a.m. I'm like, hey dude, what? It's like over 24 hours. And he's like, oh, I didn't call you. And I was like, I was just cool. Like, I don't care. I'm like, whatever. But I was like, you know, in a past life, I've been like really pissed. If I really needed that car, like, I don't know. I don't really go anywhere. You know what I mean? I go to the beach, I pick up my son, you know, we have 2 cars, whatever. But like, it just didn't matter to me. But I was like, yeah. And I was like, that's shitty service, man. Like, I want to know what the next steps are, right? Like, hey, you know what? We're going to look at this and we're going to have it to you, but we can definitely get this done. And it's going to be done by the end of the day. You should be prepared to pick your car up by 6 p.m. Or, you know what? We don't know what's wrong with your car. We need to like really get under there and scratch our heads. We're going to probably get back to you in about 24 hours with the phone call. How does that sound? Managing expectations thing is so important. You know, if you go to a really awesome restaurant that you are dying to eat at, and it's in New York City and you don't take reservations, they're like, yo, you're gonna be waiting about an hour. Cool, thanks for telling me, man. I'll come back in, you know, whatever. That's cool. I'll play on my phone for an hour, whatever that looks like. So that's really rad. What else, you guys? Bridget.
Hey, I was just gonna say on managing expectations, because I'm old and some of you guys are newer, if I can just share some with you, that if the other agent tells me like, hey, Bridge, we're gonna be back to you in 24 hours, I tell my client 48. Across the board, I always extend whatever that time is, because even by hour 22, my clients are like, there's no fingers left, because they're like so freaked out and worried. So if you always what's the under promise and over deliver, always manage their expectations by telling them it's gonna be a little bit longer than even what you're expecting. And then they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best day, and like it's the best call, and you're always on their good graces because it's always sooner than what you said it was going to be.
That's so huge. There's so much weight to that. Yo, can I ask you something, Bridget? You
can ask me anything.
And I have. So have you ever like put in an offer on a house and the listing agent was like, and you're like, oh, when should I hear back? And you're like, oh, we're gonna call you by 5 p.m. And then you went and told your client that you'll know by 5 p.m. and then that realtor just ghosted you for like
3 days. It's never happened to me. No, it's never happened. And same managing expectations that you touched on with the radon, because for me in California, we don't do that. And I'm like, oh, that's a deal killer, right? Like, but you already set it up and said, hey, Bridge, you know what? It's a $1,500 expense. I'm like, that's not even 1%. That's a nothing. That's a non-number. Anything for me, and that's a guide too for buyers, anything 1 to 3% when we do our request for repairs, when we're doing our inspections, I expect there's going to be something. This is a 50-year-old house. There's going to be something. That's why we're paying the inspector. But when it's like under 3%, I expect you to be able to write a check and be able to put in new curtains or buy new whatever, like a new stove. That's normal if you're going to be a big boy, big girl and go buy something. That's like, you need to guide your people that way and manage the expectations of, I hate the granite, I want to put in quartz. Okay, it's going to be $4,000, knowing good and well it's $2,500, but manage the expectations so they're always coming out ahead.
It's true. I love how you're like, you're just back to, I remember the first time a realtor was like, yeah, we'll get back to you at 5. And I called my client, I was like, we're gonna know at 5 o'clock. And I was like, as emotional as they were, because I was probably newer or just hadn't done it yet or whatever. And that realtor was like, I like to turn their phone off, and I don't know, went to Las Vegas, or I don't know what they did, but like a day later, I'm like, where are you? And I had to answer a phone call from my clients for like an hour, like every hour on the hour. They were so uncomfortable, upset. And then when that person just made me look bad, is pretty much what happened. Like I look like an idiot. And so now what happens is they're like, oh, if I talk to a realtor, I'm like, they did highest and best. And they're like, I'm like, hey, when are you guys going to tell me? Like, holy shit, Jill, you kind of just went through this, right? Like with that person, we had like a realtor, like an old lady who like listed her own house, offered out 1.5%, took cell phone photos, didn't do a highest and best, just kept like getting it, basically put everybody in a bidding war. But like, so in a situation like if I'm like, hey, when are you gonna have an answer for us? They're like, oh, we're gonna have an answer tomorrow around noon. I'm gonna be like, yo, they're gonna have an answer for us, like what Bridget said, in like a day and a half, like 5 p.m. Saturday. Like I just push it out because then it's like a set and forget it. I'm at ease, everyone's at ease, everybody's on ice, chilling. And then if they do get back to you in time, fuck yeah, dude. Then you're like, hey, you know what? And then you're like, hey, we heard back. They made a decision sooner than they thought they would. Boom. So that's really great, Bridget. Thanks for bringing that up. That's an awesome tidbit.
I don't know where this fits in, Joe, but you wanted me to chime in with, because I've had questions on, and I'm new, what is the inventory like in the fall and winter? I'm going to wait until the fall or the winter.
Yeah. So Jill asked today, she was like, well, she asked me about inventory, right? Fall, winter, whatever. Like, and why did you ask that question? Because a buyer probably asked, right? Should we put it off?
Exactly. Because a lot of them are like, well, I think I'll just wait a little bit. I'll come back in the winter when it's crazy. So
Bridget, how do you answer that question? Like, hey, should I put it off? Seasonality?
So it depends on the consumer, right? Like I always say, you need to stay in it. You have to stay educated about the marketplace. Do not turn it off, because to catch back up, to get back current, it's drinking from a fire hose. You have to stay in it, relevant, active, because otherwise you just won't be aware of when things are changing or how they're changing. For my investors, that's a totally different ballgame. But if it's mom and dad and we're buying our forever home, you just gotta persevere. I tell my clients it's a marathon. You're gonna write 26 offers, literally 26 offers in this marketplace to get one or two. And even at that, once we get through inspections and something you touched on, Joe, when I call the listing agent, I'm like, hey, is there anything that's a deal killer? Because I don't like deal killers. Is there anything on the disclosures? Did somebody die in the house? Is there anything you know about this house, about the disclosures? Is there anything that's a big red flag that maybe I don't see at face value or that's not listed on the MLS?
Perfect. Tina Pilot, hey, should I wait to the spring? Because I think, should I put this thing on hold? Because like my mom told me there's gonna be a lot more houses available in the springtime. Unmute yourself. She's gonna unmute herself.
You're on mute. There you go.
Sorry about that.
Yo, hey Tina, should I wait to the springtime because there's gonna be more houses? My neighbor said there's gonna be more houses.
No, the time is now.
Yeah, so like basically it goes like this. So the rebuttal is this. Let me ask you a question. On December 31st, if the right house comes on the market that's perfect in the neighborhood you want to buy in at the right price, would you want to make an offer on it? Yeah, cool. So let's just stay in it. And also, I mean, this conversation goes deeper and deeper and deeper, where it's like, well, this is what I would say. I'd be like, you know what? What's making you guys buy right now? And I'd be like, well, blah, blah, blah. For right now, guys, I'm old too. I'm old, right? I'm not young like you guys. When I bought my first house back in 1965, right? I bought my first house in 2006, right? My interest rate was 8%. Bridget's got 10, right? My parents in the 80s, 17%, 18%, 19%. Sellers in that market were paying down. Sellers were offering to pay down interest rates to entice buyers to come in and buy their houses, right? So like, I'm just like, yo, the interest rate is whatever. What's an interest rate today? Does anybody know? I don't even know. 3, 5, 3, 3. It's 3. It's still 3. Holy shit. So it's 3. I thought it was 3.5. I don't know. But if it's 3%, even on properties, if you're buying like a commercial, if you're buying like a multifamily house right now, you can get a commercial loan for 5%, 5.5. Like that's insane, right? So like what I'll do is I'll be like, guys, this is what I know. my script is this, Jill. I'm like, you know what I know is I know the market right now. I know interest rates are awesome. I know anything. And dude, the world we're living in right now, can anything happen at like any time to like change some weird shit? Like, you know, dude, I don't know, man. Like that's it. I'd be like, interest rates are this, like if interest rates go up a point, things. That's what I always talked about, which is the interest rates, man. Especially if you're buying a $500,000 house or $1 million house or whatever, you know, like if you're borrowing a lot of money, that 1% is massive. Go and play with a mortgage calculator on Google. It's really easy to do. That's it. And that's kind of it, man. And and if you're in, you know, I can speak to Monmouth and Ocean County. If you're in New Jersey, Monmouth and Ocean County, dude, I love this shit. Cause I was talking to Scott about this, right? Like, so like the spring market has started on January 1st, the last 3 years, because the rates were low, the inventory was low, and the winters were like mild, right? When I say mild in New Jersey, they still were horrible, right? But like you didn't have 8 feet of snow like 2016 where you can't like even open your front door, right? Like there's not state of emergency for a week at a time, right? Like we remember those years, right? New Jersey people. So like when you can like, when you can go outside and not slip and fall on your ass, or like, you know, you don't have to like unshovel your car, like that's a mild winter. And we've had those, right? And so what that meant is people are like, they just get started because it's the new year, right? The new year triggers things. People make decisions when the years turn over. We're going to actually talk about this at our team advance on October 4th, right? Yeah, whatever. That's kind of it. I hope that answers that question.
And Joe, I think Catherine might have a question.
Oh,
Yeah, you told me to bring this up at the meeting, Joe. I have two of my buyers that want to look at the same house. Is there any conflict of interest issue there?
So,
at all?
so
If
guess
they
what?
wanna
You know
make
what's
offers on the same house?
This is funny. There's no inventory, right, you guys?
Yeah.
What do you think would happen? What do you think happens when it turns to a buyer's market and there's like 6 months of inventory? Yo, you're gonna have a house in an area that you work that you're gonna like live in. You're gonna be like, oh, you're gonna be like this. Oh, that house, right? You're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna show XYZ Street again. Somebody's gonna buy it eventually. So yeah, you show it 100%, right? You show it, like you're gonna be like,
I figured, but what about if both of them want to make offers on the same house and they're both using me, is that a conflict? That was my question.
no, not at all. So
Not at all. Okay.
what happens is just pretend like you're two different realtors. Oh, this is the way I did in my head. Like you're two different realtors, right? And there's you have a fiduciary responsibility to each client, correct?
Yes.
So you're not gonna be like, hey, Mary, I just wrote up another offer for Mike over there. Let's see which one of you guys wins. Like,
That I know not to do, but
Like-
I was just wondering if making the,
no, you have a fiduciary responsibility, right? Okay, which means whatever that. By the way, fiduciary responsibility, guys, in case you ever wonder, it means whatever you tell me, I'm not going to tell anyone else. You can trust me, and I have your best interest in mind. That's it. So, I swear to God, you know, you laugh. There was a realtor who was like, "Oh yeah, I wrote up like 3 offers, and I told all my people like, oh, it's a race." Or I'm like, are you insane? You're so dumb, right? So yeah, the answer is yeah, you just have a fiduciary responsibility. Keep your mouth shut, advise each one exactly the same, and that's it. Because ultimately we don't sell anything. We just provide information to people, right? Like you're gonna say the same thing to each client. You're gonna be like, here's the comps, here's how long it's been on the market, here's the asking price, this is what I would offer. Boom. And then they decide what they want to offer on the house, right?
Plus their situation's unique, you know, so their circumstance is totally different. Even though they're both your clients, you know, the house may work for one of them perfectly and not for the other. And you really don't know who that's going to be until they both see it and discuss it with you.
Yeah, and each one's going to be putting different money down and all that stuff. So yeah, no, it's not a conflict of interest. You know, I don't know if anybody wants to add anything else to that one.
I was in that situation a couple of times when the market was so hot and, you know, everybody was going crazy. But my backup plan, if both were going to put an offer in, I was going to have Tina write one offer and me write the other one, so that, you know, it's a small world, so that there was no conflict or anything. But it didn't come to that. I found them each their own house, and it was fine. But that was my plan.
Because you're the best.
okay, thank you. That helped a lot.
Cool, man. Awesome. And that's yeah, and also like in our organization, like our team, we sell a lot of houses, so like it's not uncommon for us to like sell a house to one person, not
It's
the other
funny
person.
you brought that up because I was trying to show one and I was in Dot Loop doing something else and saw the house in Dot Loop that I was trying to show.
Someone on the team had already made an
Yeah,
offer.
but then I didn't end up going because they were calling for highest and best. And yeah.
Again, ultimately, the Joe Oz Group, what we're doing here is we're building a brokerage, is really what it is, right? We're building a tight knit brokerage that we all can work together. So we're going to see a lot of the same houses, things like that. We're even seeing clients come in from different sources and contacting different people. So, all right, guys, I want to respect everyone's time. Thanks for being here today. We do not have a Zillow Flex Mastermind because I have a training, and I will see everybody later.
Bye, everybody.
Thank
Nice
you.
show. Thanks, Lauren.